Welcome to the CFO Whisperer podcast with your host, Declan Tyrrell.
Hello, I'd like to talk to you today about why salespeople should be looking at the investor information available on the customers who they're trying to sell to. So first things first, let's talk about what information is available. Well, for publicly quoted companies, i.e. those which are on stock exchanges, you've got a wealth of information. You will have annual reports. Within the annual report, you will also have the income statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow statement. You'll have a lot of stuff around strategy. It's a wealth of information. But before we delve into any of that, let's just talk about why do customers give us a wealth of information through this investor portal? And that's typically where you'll get it. Most organizations will have an investor portal, an investor page, something which you can access where all this wealth of information is for. But why do they do it? Well, they don't provide this information for salespeople. They provide this information for their investors. Now, why do they need to supply all of this information for investors? Well, most investors are not individuals like you or me. Most investors are institutional investors. So they're pension funds, they're wealth managers and so forth. And often what they like is certainty. So when an organization is either under or overperforming without valid reasons, that can start to get investors nervous. And if investors get nervous and start to disinvest from that organization, then it can create a temporary share price fall. The share price can fall below the true value of the organization on a temporary basis. Now, why do we care about that? Well, if that happens, that can make that organization vulnerable. Now, it can make it vulnerable to hostile takeover, to agitator investors. There's a whole host of things can happen. So this is why organizations will share a huge amount of information in relation to what's going on in that company to keep their shareholders and investors and potential investors, the market essentially happy. Now, let me tell you where you get that. So what do we look at? You've got things like investor presentations. The investor presentations will often attack three things. It will tell you why they are where they are. So are they performing good, bad, or indifferent? It'll also tell you the challenges they faced and how they plan to address these challenges. This is crucial. These initiatives, these plans, these strategic areas which are being called out by the board or the executive of this organization, if what you're trying to sell does not easily align to one of those initiatives, to one of those goals or strategies, then it is going to be very difficult for you to convince the internal stakeholders of this organization to allow the project to happen that includes the purchasing of whatever it is you're selling. So I'm just going to recap on that ever so slightly. It is essential that you understand what is going on within the organization. I call it the true north, identifying why they are where they are, what the challenges they face, and how they plan to address them. That gives you the insight to be able to align the value you can bring to that organization in such a way that makes it much easier for the executives of that organization to say yes to whatever project that you're trying to sell or sell your services, solutions, or wherever it is wrapped around. Okay, I hope that was useful. If you'd like to know more about how we're helping salespeople address this particular challenge, then leave a comment or reach out to us at the-cfowhisperer.com. Thank you.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please leave us a review.